Hey there, what's up guys? My name is Useless Mango and I'd like to welcome you all to today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video where I'm going to be bringing you guys 5 features that I think should be added to the game as part of the Cunning Stunts DLC that's going to be coming out next Tuesday on July 12th. So I did this just before the Finance and Felony DLC came out and you guys seemed to enjoy it, so I'm going to center this 5 features video around the new Cunning Stunts DLC. And like before, these aren't features that will be coming, these are just ones that I've thought of that would be pretty cool if they do end up being added to GTA Online upon the launch of Cunning Stunts. So as always, if you do go on to enjoy the video, or you find it interesting at all, then do be sure to drop the video a like rating, and if you are new around here and you like my GTA 5 content, then why not hit that subscribe button? It only takes 2 seconds and it means that you won't miss any of my future uploads. Now with that out of the way, let's get it started. Alright, so let's get things started with a new mod shop to customize these new stunt vehicles, or the ability to turn new cars into stunt ready vehicles in Benny's original Motorworks. Now when we think about this, it's not unlikely since Rockstar did release the Sultan RS and Banshee 900R upgrades back in January of 2016, and these upgrades are pretty similar to what we've seen so far of the Cunning Stunts DLC. We've seen new sporty vehicles with masses of upgrades and aesthetic customization options, which is very similar to what we received back in January. Now while we don't know if Rockstar intend to add a new class of vehicles for the new stunt cars, they could always just add them to an existing class like they did with the Sultan RS and the Banshee 900R. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then the standard versions of the Sultan and the Banshee are both classed as sports cars, but after applying the Sultan RS and Banshee 900R upgrades, they're both added to the supercar class, as they're significantly faster than their standard versions. Now from what I can tell, there would only be one major downside to having these new vehicles as Benny vehicles, and that's the cost. So as we all know, Benny's vehicles are not cheap at all, and since we know that there's going to be at least 13 new vehicles coming with this DLC, it's going to be very expensive if they are all Benny's vehicles. Now if Rockstar were to add a new mod shop for these cars, then I don't know how it would work. Maybe it would be the same as Benny's, just in a different location and for different cars, or maybe there'd be a new pricing system where not everything was as expensive and maybe even somewhat understandable. Let's now move on to our next feature, and this is something we've been asking for literally months now, and I also mentioned it in my 5 features to come out with Finance and Felony, and if you haven't already guessed, it's an extra property slot. Now back when we were awaiting the release of the Finance and Felony DLC, we were all expecting Rockstar to add an extra property slot just because of how many vehicles we knew we'd be receiving, and Rockstar didn't do us any favours by not adding one. If you were to buy every vehicle from the Finance and Felony DLC that can be stored in a garage, then you would fill up an entire 10-car garage. And since the majority of the cars that came out with Finance and Felony were sports or supercars, people simply didn't have enough room to buy all the ones they wanted and still keep their current favourite cars. And now we have at least 13 new vehicles on the way, all of which look to be cars we can store in our garages, and all of which look pretty cool. With 13 new vehicles on the way, quite a lot of people aren't going to have enough room anymore to get these vehicles and keep their current ones, which is why an extra property slot is needed. But to be honest, I don't really see the point in the property slot cap, as Rockstar have done and most likely will continue to add new property slots as new DLCs come out. So why don't Rockstar save themselves some effort and just allow people to keep purchasing new properties when or if they need them? It would be great for us because then we wouldn't have to worry about which cars we want to sell, but it could even make more money for Rockstar, because without the cap, people will buy more cars, then need more storage space, then are more likely to invest in shark cards to buy the new properties or the new cars they want to purchase. So that's what they call on The Apprentice a win-win. The next feature we're going to be discussing today is something that could be very unlikely to ever be added to GTA Online, but it would still be pretty cool and kind of suit the stunting/street racing theme, and it's pink slips. Now if you don't know, in a pink slip race you race for the car, meaning that whoever wins the race gets to keep both their car and also the loser's car. Now I'm not saying that this should be the way that every race in the Cunning Stunts DLC should work, but maybe if it was added as a race type to be added to the likes of GTA race or non-contact race and so on. Now this probably would work best if it was a race between 2 players only, and this is probably what it would end up being unless the person who finished in first place just received the car of the player who finished in last place. Otherwise, if these races were up to 30 players maximum, then the winner would receive quite a few cars that they may not have enough storage space for. Plus, 30 cars that have the potential to be worth upwards of 500 grand a piece is a lot of money if the winner just went out and sold them all afterwards. But who knows, maybe before the races started you could take a look at the cars that other people had chosen and place a bet with a specific player, then whoever finishes the race before the other wins the car of the other player. This could work as 30 player races could still take place and players could still complete pink slips against other players within a larger race. And that's actually a great way to lead into our next feature, and it's improved impromptu races in GTA Online Free Mode. Now impromptu races are something that we don't really see anyone doing in GTA Online Free Mode, and I think that the reason for it is that there's no real reward for completing them. But if Rockstar were to improve them to add stunting opportunities, then players might actually do them, as they could end up being a good and fun way to earn a little bit of money in online. Now the idea I had was that you could alter the settings of the impromptu race to turn it into a stunt race, where you could score extra points for completing jumps, drifts and near misses, and the more of these that you completed during the race, the more points you would earn, and therefore the more money you would get out of it. Now I know that the payouts are mostly made up from what players spend to enter the race in the first place, and this could still be a factor, but if the game could actually give payouts for completing little stunts during the race, then this new impromptu race option could be more widely used in GT Online. And in my opinion, it would actually suit the theme of the overall DLC, as it would encourage general street racers to take part and give players the opportunity to use their new stunt-ready vehicles in free mode other than just driving them around. And yet again, that's actually a great way to lead into our last but certainly not least feature on this list, and that's FREEMODE STUNT course time trials. Now this one might be a bit of a long shot, but the idea I had was that a stunt course could be spawned into free mode as a free mode event, then players could take their vehicles to the start line and complete a time trial of the course. Then the player who completes it in the quickest time wins the overall free mode event. Now the reason that I said that this would be a bit of a long shot is because from what we've seen so far, these stunt courses are absolutely huge, and therefore spawning one of them into free mode all of a sudden could cause some stability issues with the game and maybe affect players' experience when it's active. But imagine just how cool it would be for one of these courses to appear in free mode for players to play on. It would certainly beat having to start up the job from the pause menu, but there is always the issue of it being spawned into free mode sessions. Now the races that we've seen so far that take place in the middle of the city might end up being a bit obtrusive, as the city is where most players hang about, but maybe if some of the courses that we've seen that spawn north in Blaine County could be some of the better options if this feature is ever brought into online. Now I'm almost certain that this feature isn't ever going to come out in GT Online, let alone on Tuesday when the DLC does actually drop, but I thought it was a pretty cool idea, and that's why it's made its way onto this list. Alright, so I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. What do you think of the features that I've discussed in this video? Would you do anything differently to make these features even better? Or do you have an epic idea for a feature that you'd like to see come out with the Cunning Stunts DLC? As always, be sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. Okay, so that's all I've got for you guys today. If you did go on to enjoy the video or you found it interesting at all, then do be sure to drop the video a like rating. And if you are new around here and you like my GTA 5 content, then why not hit that subscribe button? It only takes 2 seconds and it means that you won't miss any of my future uploads. Now with that said, I want to thank you guys for watching, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys in the next video.